Today, we have a roller coaster of disbelief lined up for you. Get ready to have your mind blown as we explore the incredible, the bizarre, and the downright unbelievable moments that will leave you asking, did that really happen? Number 20. Goats climbing a dam. Many people know that goats are excellent climbers, especially mountain goats. Mountain goats are specially built to climb narrow ledges and scale seemingly vertical cliffs. Their hooves are designed for gripping, and they have impressive balance. But have you ever thought about goats climbing up a man-made dam? Well, that's exactly what happened at the Sannino Dam in northern Italy. The camera recorded unbelievable images of goats climbing the vertical side of the dam to lick minerals and saltpeter off the walls. Despite the risky position, these goats even fought for a better spot on the steep drop. It's crazy. Mountain goats are like climbing machines with their slender bodies and purpose-built hooves for balancing on ledges. The goats in the video are alpine ibex, a strong and powerful type of goat found in the high snowy regions of the European Alps. They have distinctive curved horns, which they use for self-defense. These goats are sure-footed and navigate tricky terrains with their balancing abilities and powerful legs. They leap between rocky ledges in a way that would amaze even a seasoned action movie stunt person, all without a harness or net. Number 19. Slipping on the ice. We're watching a video from a really cold day in winter. It happened in Ukraine in 2020. The video shows people slipping and falling on icy streets. There's one woman in particular who's having a tough time. She's wearing a hat, gloves, and a backpack. The video captures her struggling to stay on her feet as she walks on the slippery sidewalk. She falls down many times, gets back up, and tries again. A stranger tries to help her, but it doesn't work, so they leave her alone. The woman keeps falling and trying to stand up. It's hard to watch, and you can feel sorry for her. You might wonder why we're still watching her struggle. Number 18. Dog fakes broken leg. This dog in Bangkok, Thailand, named Gas, is like a performer. Some people think he's clever, while others might see him as a bit tricky. Gas has a special trick to get attention. He pretends his leg is broken and drags it behind him. But the truth is, he can stand up on it and run just fine. Local folks say he does this to get noticed, and then people feed him. It's interesting, because when a person pretends to be hurt to get sympathy and money for food, people get upset and call it fake begging. They don't think it's clever. Instead, they get angry. Number 17. Forest xylophones. In 2011, a Japanese company called Domo came up with a cool idea to promote their new product. They built a big forest xylophone. It had rows of wooden keys, each making a different sound. They released a ball at the top, and as it rolled down the steps, it played a music piece by Bach. It's like a giant xylophone. What do you think of this amazing musical instrument? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Number 16. Wave machine causes tsunami. When a swimming pool makes the news, it's usually not a good thing. Like this one time in the summer of 2019, there was a problem at a water park in China. The pool, called the Tsunami Pool, had a big issue with its machine, and it created a huge artificial wave. This wave ended up hurting 44 swimmers. It turns out a drunk man might have caused the problem by messing with the controls. So, instead of having a fun time, people in rubber rings got caught in a massive wave that they couldn't control. It caused a lot of injuries, bad news, and the pool had to close. Maybe sticking to a small kiddie pool would have been much safer and more enjoyable. Number 15. Woman's pool turns into tsunami. In California, earthquakes are common. People there know that the San Andreas Fault might break and part of the state could end up in the Pacific Ocean. It's a risk, but earthquakes happen a lot. When a 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit, most folks in California weren't too surprised. But one woman had an unusual experience, and it made it to the local news. Deborah was in her backyard when the quake started. She was scared of ending up in her pool, so she quickly got out. The shaking was so strong that she had to sit down. It was too wobbly to walk. Then her pool started making big waves. It was exciting for a short time, but Deborah's main concern was keeping her phone dry. It's important to know what matters during a potential natural disaster. Number 14. Man drops food. People use doorbell cameras and other security devices at home. These cameras record everything we do, like in this video. It's just a video of a man coming back from getting fast food. He trips on his porch steps, which can happen to anyone. It's not a big deal, but then he gets really angry and starts throwing things around. That's when he looks kind of silly. Most of the stuff he threw was probably okay until he threw it in a fit of rage. Now, there's a mess on the front lawn and nobody gets to eat dinner. He's still mad, and for some reason, it's also on the internet forever. Number 13. Dog interrupts soccer game. During a soccer game in Georgia, a dog showed up and ran onto the field. The players thought it was fun, and even the goalkeeper made friends with the dog. The crowd seemed excited, but it was hard to tell if they liked the dog or were annoyed at the delay in the game. Some players joined in the fun, and they all played with the dog for a bit. Eventually, one player tricked the dog into thinking they were playing, but then the dog realized it was being taken off the field. Number 12. Drones display messages in Seoul. In 2020, there was an event in South Korea where something special happened. Messages were created in the sky using lots of drones. These messages were meant to be encouraging and to make people aware of COVID-19. They ranged from cute and uplifting messages to serious health warnings. Some messages even formed heart shapes and other cute things to keep people connected and informed. The drones even did a performance to show how to wash hands properly, which was important during that time. At the end of the show, there was a salute to the hardworking medical professionals who were helping others. It makes me wonder if, besides clapping for these workers, South Korea also paid them well for their important work. Number 11. Buffalo gore's lion. In South Africa's Mala Game Reserve, a bunch of lions tried to attack a group of buffalo. But there was one buffalo that wasn't okay with this. The video shows how this buffalo turned the tables on the lions. It used its sharp horns to charge at the lions. It even caught one lion on its horn, like a kebab. The lion felt the sharp end of the horn, but despite the buffalo's big efforts, the other lions still ate another buffalo. Buffaloes are big and heavy. They can weigh up to 1,900 pounds and be as long as 11 feet. They travel in large groups for safety and are good swimmers to avoid lions that don't like water. One cool thing they do is have white birds, called oxpeckers, on their backs. These birds eat insects on the buffalo and also act as a warning system. They hiss when a lion is nearby. Number 10. Teen solves Rubik's Cubes and juggles. Now, let me tell you about a teenager named Angel Alvarado from Colombia. He is really special because he can solve 3 Rubik's Cubes in just 4 minutes and 31.1 seconds. What makes it even more interesting is that he does this while juggling other things. This caught the attention of the Guinness Book of World Records, and they checked and confirmed his achievement. They were so impressed that they gave him a new world record title for this unique skill. Angel can solve 3 Rubik's Cubes in 4 minutes and 31.1 seconds, and he is the first person to set a world record for both juggling and speed cubing at the same time. Number 9. Raccoon stealing kittens' food. In June 2020, when we didn't have much to do and spent a lot of time looking at screens and scrolling through our phones, news organizations were struggling to find interesting stories. Here's a simple story. There's a video of a clever raccoon in Alabama. The raccoon hides under a deck, sticks its paws through a gap, and steals food from kittens eating nearby. The kittens don't really mind the funny paws. It's not a big news story, but it shows that raccoons are smart and can find food in unexpected places. Raccoons have a history of sneaking into homes through cat doors and eating whatever they can find. Even if people try to keep them out, raccoons often find a way in. Studies suggest that city raccoons are getting smarter because city life gives them more chances to figure out how to get food. Raccoons seem to enjoy solving puzzles and learning new skills, so the more we try to keep them away, the better they become at finding ways in. Number 8. Moose walks on water. What's happening here is pretty strange. There's a video of an animal that people are calling Jesus Moose because it looks like it's running on water. The video was probably taken from a boat, likely one with a big fan on the back called an airboat. These boats are made for shallow water, like swamps. So, one explanation is that the water is really shallow and the moose's big hooves make it seem like it's running on the surface, even though it's just a few inches deep. But if the water isn't shallow and the moose is really gliding on the river, that's a bit of a mystery. Any other ideas, or do we stick with the whole Jesus Moose thing? Number 7. Train spotters near miss. Now, picture this. Someone who really loves trains might know a bit about how dangerous they can be. But not this guy. He was almost crushed by a super fast train while he was busy filming a slower, older one in Thurston and Suffolk, United Kingdom. The person filming, a train enthusiast like him, was trying to capture the moment. As they eagerly watched the steam train passing through the station, they didn't realize that a modern high-speed train was approaching rapidly behind them. The people nearby noticed the danger, but the guy filming was completely unaware. He was standing very close to the tracks, focused on the old train. Just in the nick of time, others alerted him, and he barely escaped getting hit as the fast train zoomed past. He was incredibly lucky. It really seemed like he might not make it out okay. Number 6. The waving bear. This big Kodiak bear at the Olympic Game Farm in Washington is not just friendly, but also really quick. People drive through the safari park in their cars, and this bear has a habit of waving at them. Maybe he's just waiting for visitors, or perhaps he's remembering the good old days when he used to roam freely. When excited people show up, he's known for giving them a wave. The bear is used to it, and it seems like he catches on easily. The visitors want their bear wave, but giving a wave for just a piece of dry bread doesn't seem too exciting. These animals might be getting a bit tired of all the attention, especially since they're used to people watching them from their cars. Come on, guys, not even a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is getting much of a reaction. Number 5. Whale's surprise surfer. Wow, you won't believe what happened. Two friends who were looking for whales in a kayak near a California beach had a really close encounter. Instead of just seeing a whale, they got lifted out of the water by a humpback whale. Another person in a nearby kayak recorded it, and it looked like the women were briefly inside the whale's mouth. Luckily, they got out of it, but their kayak flipped over, and they ended up in the water. Thankfully, other people helped them, and they made it home okay. One of the women had a shirt full of fish, and the other lost her car keys, but overall, they lived to tell the crazy story. Number 4. Massive sinkhole swallows cars. In January 2023, a lot of rain fell in Los Angeles, which doesn't usually get much rain. This caused some problems. In one neighborhood called Chatsworth, a big hole opened up suddenly in the middle of the road because of the rain. 2 cars fell into the hole, which was 15 feet deep. Firefighters rescued the people in the cars using ropes and ladders, and they were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Some other people were also in the hole, but managed to climb out on their own before help arrived. Sinkholes are strange and can appear suddenly, swallowing things like houses. Usually, they form slowly over many years, often because of the movement of certain rocks in the ground. While rain can contribute to sinkholes, human activities like building, drilling, and illegal dumping can also cause them. So, even though sinkholes can be surprising, they often develop slowly, and there are ways to understand where they might happen. Number 3. Burj Khalifa base jump. A while ago, people often argued about which building was the tallest in the world. Many countries wanted to have the tallest building. Recently, it seems like the United Arab Emirates has this covered. The Burj Khalifa is a really big and tall building, and it's now the world's tallest. It's a huge structure, standing at 2,716 feet and 6 inches. It's often called a vertical city because of its size. A lot of work went into building the Burj Khalifa. About 12,000 people from all over the world helped build it. The building is covered with 26,000 glass panels, and it takes a long time to clean them all. 3 months, to be exact. Now, imagine if someone thought it would be fun to jump off the Burj Khalifa. Not in a dangerous way, but just for fun. Well, there's a crazy activity called base jumping where brave, or maybe a little crazy people jump from a high place, free fall for a bit, and then open a parachute to land safely. In 2016, some daredevils decided to base jump off the Burj Khalifa, breaking the world record for the highest base jump. Luckily, everyone stayed safe, and that's a relief. Number 2. Brazil Dam Collapse. In February 2019, a really scary thing happened. A dam at a mine in Brazil broke, and it was all recorded on camera. The water that came out was dirty and muddy, and it went everywhere around the mine and the nearby area. The mine was close to a city called Brumadinho. The flood caused a lot of damage, and many people lost their lives. The water was so high that parts of the city were completely underwater. The video shows the exact moment the dam broke and brown water rushed through the valley. Because of the water, a whole hillside collapsed, and a bunch of debris and trash got carried away by the flood. It was a big disaster caused by mining, and it could have been prevented. Sadly, many innocent people died because of it. Number 1. Largest glacier calving. As the Earth gets warmer, we are seeing more problems from it. People are worried and trying hard to keep an eye on the ice that is melting a lot. The big ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctica have most of the fresh water on Earth. These ice sheets are melting very fast because of climate change. This is causing a big risk of sea levels going up, which could put many coastal areas underwater. Some filmmakers are making a documentary about the melting ice. They recorded a huge glacier breaking off and falling into the water. The video shows how big the ice is and how powerful the water is. The melting is happening really fast, and it's something we should be worried about. That's all for today's strange and surprising moments caught on camera. Have you ever filmed something very strange? Share your stories in the comments below. Also, check out other interesting things on the screen. See you next time.